383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Welcome to Meet the Minister, your inside look at government in action. Tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Meet the Minister, a powerful 60-minute conversation with a minister from the SLP government hosted by Terry Fenelon. Get first-hand insights into the government's policies, programs, and progress as we discuss the issues that matter to you. Stay informed, stay engaged. That's Meet the Minister with Terry Fenelon, Fridays at 10 a.m. only on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM.
It's now time for Meet the Minister, hosted by Terence Fenelon. Mr. Fenelon, good morning and welcome once again to Rev-Up St. Lucia.
Good morning, Andre, to the listeners, viewers, wherever you are. And well, everywhere, right? Facebook, X, Tupatu. YouTube.
Yeah, and don't forget, we have a transmitter in the town of Soufrière. And that thing beams all the way up to Fosse Jacques and so on.
Great stuff.
Also in the Choiseul area there, industry, all the way down there. So we're reaching quite a few people.
Very good stuff, good stuff, Andre. Well, let me apologize for last week. Andre, sometimes, things happen, circumstances beyond your control. So I want to apologize to the viewers, the listeners, for the absence of a program. I thought of coming alone at the time, but at the last minute there was a change, and I had to respond. So it won't happen again. Sometimes if the minister last minute has to cancel or something, I'll do the program myself.
Beautiful.
Because the show must, according to the show must go on.
And plus I'm here.
Yeah, that's right. So we can. Andre boy and I came in there, boy. I saw some bolums downstairs there, God bless. Then when I checked myself, my brother waiting for me there,
Your brother? Arthur Charles?
No, that one you don't know.
Arthur.
Yeah, so Andre, I wanted to, yesterday's program, my research officer told me there's nothing to respond to. So I want to waste my time on effort on a fellow talking about CIP and there might be unsavory characters. Andre, no matter what system you have, what program, there will always be people trying to beat the system. That's a fact. You understand? Yes, we want them pure and and nice and wholesome, but they're always going to be con artists trying to beat the system. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, we had this guy Martinez in St. Kitts, and he came here and he found favor with some people. A con man, a fraudster, a con artist. So, Andre, that is something that we just can't. So my research officer told me, don't bother, there was nothing to respond to. So unless you have something for me.
Yes, I just have a simple question. A lot of the callers this morning were inquiring about who's going to be footing the bill for the visit of the Nigerian president. I mean,
very simple. You know the Prime Minister is somebody who's always up front. He's always up front. He's there and he will tell you. All right? He hides nothing. He always comes to face the public. So he will tell you, if we vote in the bill, we vote in the bill. And we're happy that, it's just that I found it surprising that...
So you don't know?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
I just found it surprising that the head of a country, the government of an African state is coming in. I'm seeing so much self-hate. I mean, if it was a European or something coming down, everybody would be on board. But Africa is just about 4 hours away in 100 direct flight. Closest point, 4 hours away. That's not far, and that's our ancestral home. And so everybody has everything negative. No, not everybody. Some people are just trying to I really don't understand that. We have to reconnect with Africa, Andre. We have to reconnect with Africa. So I was a little, Bob Marley saying, free yourself from mental slavery. Peter Tosh, all the conscious music, I'm an African and everything. And then all of a sudden, we want to, let's leave that alone. Today I'm honored to have my comrade again, my classmate, Teachers College. We go way back. That's what, 40-something years, 50-something years?
50, no.
My comrade, well, please, we go back a long way. And he's a guy in his taboo and his drums and his Africanness, so I know he's welcoming the presence of the president of Nigeria. We closed the airport for 2 hours.
And he used to come to the country Western parties. I don't see him anymore.
he's a busy man.
Campaigning.
So he's into that. So we're happy, Andre, to have him here. And I know he's looking forward to rubbing shoulders with of the fellow Africans. I understand it's going to be 100 strong, Andre, about the African posse coming down. I mean, you close the airport for just for 2 hours. I mean, sometimes, Andre, an aircraft will come there and maybe the wheels of the aircraft and the Hero is closed for 3 hours. I mean, people make it as though the sky is falling and more there'll be so much disruption. And people, stop this fear mongering, okay? Let's just 2 hours will pass in the blink of an eye. Okay, and don't think that SLASPA is crazy, that SLASPA will not have been able to rearrange and arrange flights as though we are so disorganized and we don't know what we're doing. We have to stop that. Get over that. We are professionals and people have things organized. Yes, there might be a little discomfort. But let's welcome our brother.
Any heads of government from other CARICOM countries confirmed?
Well, we have the minister here. He can confirm that. I have not introduced him. We have I did say, right? We have our... Musa is always on my because we are comrades, but the Honorable Moses Jabatis is here. He can confirm that. Do we have any heads confirmed there for?
Yes. Well, good morning to you,
yes.
Terry, and good morning.
Morning, Mr. Jabatis.
I'm very pleased to be here again.
Yes.
Yes, I want to say yes. We do have a number of leaders who will be attending. I do not have the list of all confirmed attendees because every day. There may be changes and additions and so on. But the Ministry of External Affairs and also the Office of the Prime Minister will certainly make those pronouncements.
Right.
But I'm very pleased to join all St. Lucians and especially the Prime Minister and the government of St. Lucia to welcome the President of Nigeria who will be here for a few days with us in St. Lucia. And he will also meet with a number of heads of government here in St. Lucia. So St. Lucians are in for a welcome treat from an African leader.
That's right.
Nigeria, as you know, is possibly the most populous country in Africa. And an oil-based economy, and there's so much that we can share, not just benefit from, but so much we can share with our brothers and sisters from Africa. So I look forward to the president's visit in eager anticipation. Yeah.
And it's twofold, eh? You remember at college we had a guy called Two Fools?
Yes.
You know the context? But it's twofold. So he's on business and holiday. Imagine that, when the Prime Minister, the head of Africa comes on holiday to relax. You know the publicity, Andre, and stuff. I mean, I don't know why we are hitting that man. Let the man organize, let him send pictures, let the posse so the Africans can come down. We need the trade, man. We need to establish links. Andre, and we could take a trip to Africa, man. Just to England is 8 hours, straight flight. Barbados, Antigua, I think they have direct flights,
Yes.
I think to Africa, Antigua, Barbados, they already have that. So we have to establish those links, man, and we have to tell our people, open our eyes, man. Go back and listen to Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and get conscious, man. You don't hit your brothers. Somebody say the man looks like Pierre, but of course Pierre is African. He's African descendant. Anyway, I've talking too much already. Let's leave that alone. Mr. Minister, welcome. Last time we were talking, and this today is be positive. Yes. Now Andre has the phone numbers. We're going to open the lines, and when we do, people no long talk. Get to the questions. Before we do that, let's clarify one thing. I heard the beacon of truthfulness, Mr. Guy Joseph, saying that while he was supervising the police operation at Thomas Eugene's operation, where he took all the St. Jude material, we were saying we don't know where it is. He says they carried out a complete inventory, and these were placed in Viewfort. Now people have been saying that we need to know, do you have that inventory and do you have the location of these material?
Well, thanks very much for this question. As I've said before here and on other programs, information and details relating to exactly what happened when the United Workers' Party was in office in relation to the St. Jude Hospital, materials, where materials were, where materials are, and so on. All of that will be dealt with. In fact, I have said publicly, and the Prime Minister has indicated, that even as we speak, there are certain delicate operations that are happening to ensure that when we present to the people of St. Lucia, that we do it in a way which is going to demonstrate what happened. Prime Minister has said, not only will we present it to the people of St. Lucia in a forensic way, but also in the Parliament of St. Lucia. So there will be a number of actions, a number of things will happen. Our strategy has been to complete the hospital, to transfer the patients and the medical professionals, and all of the he say, she say, whatever will happen after. But for now, we are focused on delivering the hospital and the medical services at St. Jude. But yes, we will provide the people of St. Lucia with those answers.
Okay, because I mean, you know, Guy Joseph Reddy, he's the beacon of truthfulness. So when he speaks, he speaks with. All right, but
I don't really know what the gentleman says. I don't follow him, and I am focused on delivering better health services.
Very good. Now, we're not going to spend any time on this, but you have piqued my appetite there, my interest. You said delivering St. Jude. I mean, there's a buzz in the air. I'm already seeing people posting the outfits and they want to march. I mean, without going into too much detail, will that be soon?
Well, it is going to be relatively soon. Prime Minister has indicated that it's going to be this year. Mm-hmm. And a number of activities are currently happening with the transitioning team. We have a steering committee led by Mr. Michael Willius. Mm-hmm. We also have a number of transitioning committees, so to speak, at the hospital itself, the St. Jude Hospital, and also with other professionals. We brought in other local professionals. We have sought advice from the Pan American Health Organization. Mm-hmm. They have been part of the process also. And so we are working with a number of individuals to ensure that when that time comes, we can transition properly to the new facilities, the newly refurbished facilities, and new facilities at OG. So there's a lot of activity. In addition to the construction, the completion of construction, there's a lot of activity taking place, and we are pretty confident that it's going to go very smoothly.
So you're saying that things are looking good.
Yes,
the pot is stirring.
Yes,
and everything is in place.
Things are looking very positive.
Locally,
God willing.
God willing. Yes. So we have our transition teams ready. Yes. They're planning and they're strategizing, and there should be a smooth transition, from the stadium to the new facility.
Yes, definitely.
And so we can tell our solutions, as you said, this year. Now we're already in. Well, call it July, is that?
We're in July,
basic for all intents and purposes.
Yes.
So this year, so just a few more months to go, 6 months, and then St. Jude. But before we go on, the 27th is supposed to be some serious action. 27th of July.
Yes, 27th July, we celebrate 4 years of the Philip JPL-led administration, the Senatorial Labour Party led government, and. We are planning some activities. The details will come out soon, but we have put all supporters, patriots, and St. Lucians on notice that on or near the 27th, we will be having a major activity on the 27th. But before that, we are going to remind St. Lucians of where we found the economy, where we found healthcare services, where we found so many things, and what we promised the people of St. Lucia, and we will show St. Lucians and remind St. Lucians what we have delivered in 4 years. So I look forward to that.
Great stuff. So today we're going to be speaking about universal healthcare.
Yes, but even before we go there, I really wish, on a very sad note, to express my sincere condolences to the family of a nurse, a midwife, who lost her life, and I really want to express my sympathy to all of the nurses in St. Lucia, and in particular the nurses at the Millennium Heights Medical Complex where she worked. It's a very sad situation, the details of which I don't have all of the details, but I know that counseling is being organized for the nurses, her fellow compatriots and nurses, and the whole fraternity I know is in mourning. So I really wish to, on behalf of the ministry, on behalf of the government, to say to the nurses, to the family, especially the family of this nurse, that we really feel your pain, and we are going to do what we must to comfort you and to hold your hands in this very tragic time.
Okay. Well, as you said, so it's close to home, because she was the bridesmaid at my first son's wedding.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Yeah, well,
And
my sympathies.
yeah, we got the news this morning. I was like, wow, because we were just calling our granddaughter because we have somewhere to go this afternoon, and that was the news.
Yes,
that hit me. I think she was also the godmother of my first grandchild.
Okay, so that's really close.
So that's So that was that is. So you just brought I was trying to block it out for the show, but as you mentioned it there, it touched a little. So I know my son and my daughter-in-law, especially my daughter-in-law.
Just a quick question, if you don't mind.
Best friends.
To the minister.
Yes.
Can you say definitively that St. Jude Hospital, the construction will be completed by the end of this year? Is that what it is?
No, we are going to move into the hospital before the end of the year.
Okay, so in terms of the completion now.
Yeah, the completion. Well, most of the works have been completed. The contractor is working on just final details inside of the hospital, and also doing the external works, the roads on the outside and so on. So in terms of the infrastructure, most of that is complete. In terms of the wiring, the electricals, the plumbing and so on, most of that is also complete. So that is why the Prime Minister has said over and over again, based on the information that we have, we will be transitioning into the new facilities by or before the end of this year. Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's go to universal healthcare.
Yes.
And we need to know what to do. I noticed last week you had there was some opening of breast cancer. So just tell us a little about it, and let's go into what it is that you're doing.
Okay, I think it's always important, and good morning to all of our listeners. I don't know if I said that before. Those who are listening from St. Lucia, those who have joined us in the diaspora all around the world, good morning or good evening, good afternoon to you wherever you are. I'm very pleased to be with you. Yeah. And greetings also in a very special way to the people of V4 North, these people who ensure every 5 years that, or 4.5 years, that I am returned to service in the Parliament of St. Lucia. Right. I want to say, before we go into the details, it is always very important, in a nutshell, to explain to people what universal health care is all about. Right. Because the opposition obviously says they have a different view. The opposition says all the time that there's nothing called universal health coverage. They don't understand it, and they believe that what we are doing does not make sense. So it's important to explain it very briefly. Universal health coverage is a system where the people of a country, let's say St. Lucia, gets access to a package of health services without causing them further financial burden. And that package of health services is quality health services. It is health services that is available. It is health services that does not discriminate. And it's health services that is accessible. And the key thing about it is that you need to access it, and it reduces your out-of-pocket expenditure. It doesn't mean that you're not going to spend any money for healthcare, but as time goes by, your out-of-pocket expenditure, you spend less out-of-pocket. So universal health coverage has been spoken about for many decades in St. Lucia. Universal health coverage means you are going to get certain services, and you will not take money out of your pocket to pay for it. You are going to get those services, and things will be organized so that you are encouraged to access the services. So let's go to basically to the history. Right. We have since 2006, the government of St. Lucia under Dr. Kenny Anthony has been taking various steps to advance universal health coverage. And there are several cabinet members. I'm not going to show them to you, but the date, 27 February 2006, and I worked with them. Under Dr. Kenny Anthony, Cabinet Conclusion 155 speaks about universal health care. There's a Cabinet Conclusion of March 6, 2006, Cabinet Conclusion 177, a pilot for universal health coverage in diabetes and hypertension, and we can go on and on. I'm just giving you a chronology. In October of 2006, Cabinet approved a logo and a steering committee to advance universal health coverage. In May 2006, the pilot phase for diabetes and hypertension. But we lost the elections in December of 2006.
Yeah.
And between 2006 and 2011, I can't speak too much about what forward movements there were with universal health coverage. We fast forward to 2016, and the government came back in 2011, and we had activities to try and restart universal health coverage. Then you had the Jude Hospital and all of that. In January of 2016, there's a cabinet conclusion for Director of Health Sector Transition. And you remember that transition would have been Owen King EU from Victoria to Owen King EU. But not only that, that director would have dealt with health, the whole health sector transition.
Right.
And that director was Dr. Stephen King. And you know, we lost again in 2016, and you saw what happened. When the last government came in, the idea was a national health insurance. So the whole idea of universal health coverage was put aside, and the idea for kind of universal health access was a national health insurance. So there are cabinet conclusions in 2019, in April 2019, speaking about universal national health insurance committee. Again, other cabinet conclusions in August, another committee in September, policy direction for national health insurance, all of these in 2019. But the last government, and I've said so publicly, spoke about national health insurance. They have cabinet conclusions saying they will do something, they will do this and they will do that. They also went seeking advice from private insurance companies, asking them for quotes. What would it cost to do this? What would it cost to do that? But the last government did not do anything tangible. There was no action towards universal access to health coverage. You heard them speak about health insurance, everybody will get 75,000 and so on. There is no document which states that the government took a policy decision that they were talking about it. They were talking to insurance companies. They were talking among themselves about it. But there were no benefits that we can document that accrued to the people of St. Lucia because of the policies of the last government where universal health coverage is concerned or where national health insurance is concerned. That is the difference between the last government and this government. Right. So what we did when we came in, we did not invent or reinvent the wheel. We said, listen, there are lessons from the past. We started with diabetes and hypertension. There are professionals who wrote papers, Dr. King, Dr. Zeister, Edmund. There are so many professionals, the doctors. I can't name all of them, but what we're saying is that we are standing on the shoulders of pioneers.
That's right.
And we did not reject their ideas. Okay? There are papers by a number of doctors and nurses and professionals, and they gave you the guidelines from PAHO, WHO, what we should do to achieve universal health coverage. So we said, listen, let us take these lessons and let's add to it, but we are going to take action as a government. And that is a clear difference between what we are doing now and what the last government keeps talking about even up to now.
Oh, yes.
What I'm going to show you this morning, I'm going to tell you, by way of evidence and documented evidence. I'm going to show you the actions that we have taken and the benefits that have accrued to the people of St. Lucia. So we said we are coming in, we are going to implement universal health coverage, but we are going to do it in a phased way. Because when you look at all of the documents, in some cases, the Dr. King document from 2017, for example, estimates that you need about $350 million a year. And that was since about 2017 to run a good essential package of health services program. When we look at other documents with inflation and so on, now we are looking at possibly closer to $400 million a year. So in other words, the information that we have states that you need about close to $400 million a year if you have to run, a successful universal health coverage program, a package, program for the essential package of health services. So we said as a government, every year, every government speaks about universal health coverage, but the cost is one thing. The systems that you have to put in place is another. It's a very challenging proposition. So we said, what are we going to do? And the cabinet decided, the prime minister decided. The prime minister said, listen, Musa, you are the Minister for Health. I'm charging you with the responsibility to implement universal health coverage. And come to cabinet with a proposal that's going to show that we are implementing. And Honorable Philip J. Pierre is always about implementing, showing results. Don't come to me and just talk about universal health coverage. Show me what the people are getting. I'm going to put money in the budget and show me what our people are getting. So we said, okay, we went back in the ministry, spoke to all of, to the professionals, went back to cabinet, to and through, and we said, here is what we are going to do. The professionals said, listen, let us create a unit within the ministry to focus only on universal health coverage. We are not going to have it just as a line item in the ministry and talk about it all the time. So I went to cabinet, and the Prime Minister loved the idea. The cabinet of ministers supported it. We say, yes, let's do it. So we implemented a unit within the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Elderly Affairs to focus solely on the implementation of universal health coverage. That is the one difference. That's one difference. Tangible difference. So we created a post, a director of universal health coverage, who is Dr. Alicia Eugene Ford. We have officers, we have administrative staff, we have economists, people who are working within the universal health coverage unit to give it guidance and to give it push. But this universal health coverage unit works with the rest of the ministry. So the CMO would have input, the chief pharmacist, chief nutritionist, everybody would have input, so that all of us are working together, but they are focused on universal health. That's one. The second thing, the second difference is we went to cabinet and Prime Minister told me to come with a plan which will show him how we are going to benefit the people of St. Lucia, even though it's in a phased way. So we came with a cabinet memo and we said, we are going to begin to implement the essential package of health services. The first one we launched was maternal and childcare services. So that's tangible. Yes. So we have a number of St. Lucians. We said, okay, any lady who's pregnant, who goes to the wellness centers, they will get there were some regular services before. So when a lady went to the wellness centers, they would get some services. But we reorganized those services. So you would get your checks and so on. If you needed additional consultation, you would get all of these without any cost to you. The blood tests that you have to do in your trimesters and so on, you'll get that at no cost to you. The ultrasounds that you have to do. So doctor will check whether baby fetus is okay, developing well, are there any abnormalities and so on. Doctor will advise you and say you need further consultation. The government would pay for that. So that's number two. So number two is that we can show tangible results out of the maternal and childcare services. And I even have the numbers. Between June 2023 and March of 2025, we served 2,490 expectant mothers. They got their lab tests, they got their blood tests. Okay? We engage 8 private providers for ultrasound services. So it's not just at the hospitals. So we engage with the private sector. Formal contracts with the private sector, which is another difference. And we had 3,550 ultrasounds done. 3,550. That's between June 2023 to March of 2025. Facts. Tangible results. Very different. So out of that, the information would be in the health information system. And so doctors can now look at that and look for trends and look for if there are certain issues. So we begin to build the blocks of a good universal health coverage system, because you need data, you need information. The second thing we did, we said, listen, we are also going to deal with cervical cancer screening. Now again, we had cervical cancer screening. People did their pap smears and so on. But we said we're going to take it up a notch. We are going to provide a brand new system, which is liquid-based cytology, a new system for the screening of cervical cancer, and also HPV testing. And the clients, our ladies, would get it free. I don't like to say free because medical services are not free. Although we just say free, loosely, but at no cost to the patient. I prefer to say it like that. At no cost to the patient, meaning the government would pay for it. And here is the result. So we launched our cervical cancer screening as part of the universal health coverage program. And you know what? Between August 24th to August 2024, when we launched, to March of 2025, more than 3,000 women were screened. Over 3,000 women were screened. And I must tell you, I'll not give you the figures, although I have them. I must tell you, a number of women, we picked up a number of cases that needed further consultation. And we gave these women the further consultation at no cost to them. So that's another difference.
Yes.
And I'm going to continue. So when the UWP speaks about universal health coverage, they try to trash it. I always go to the core of the matter. Bring me the results of what you did for health insurance. Tell me how many women benefited under your plan when you were in government, and I'll tell you how many women are benefiting today. And that is how we compare things. We don't compare things of talking about all these things they're talking about, innuendo and people on platform and referring to their children and so on. No, facts. And so the women, St. Lucians, over 3,000 women were screened. We said, no, that's not enough. So remember, we are building the universal health coverage program. We admit as a government that you can't do all at the same time. But at the same time, we also admit as a government that we are not waiting another 10 years to talk about universal health coverage. We are doing something now. So the next thing, we went to the men's clinic. Now, you'll recall that in the past, men would be asked to come to the health center, check your prostate, check this, check that. But for you to do further prostate tests and so on, you had to pay for the PSA, which is a blood test which helps the doctors and the nurses and the professionals determine what the state of your prostate. There are other tests like your digital rectal exam and so on, but the PSA test is a test that costs some money. So the government decided that we would include we would relaunch the men's clinic and provide assistance for prostate screenings. What did we do? In December of 2024, we launched the men's clinic. Okay? So it is not from December of last year. To date, between December and March of this year, we have served 450 men, some of whom needed additional consultation, meaning when they did the PSA, and they don't have to pay for the PSA. That's the key thing. They do not have to pay for the PSA. And again, the government of St. Lucia, through the Ministry of Health, through the unit, the Universal Health Coverage Unit, entered into private contracts, arrangements with the private labs in St. Lucia. So we are working with the private sector. Over 450 men have been served. In some cases, the men call me and tell me they need more clinics because so many men are coming to the clinics, and it is taking a little time sometimes to get the results to go to the further consultations, and we admit that. So we are making arrangements to see if we can have some more clinics, because before, the men were not so interested. Men, we were saying to men, go and get your clinic, go and get your clinic. Men were not too interested. Right now, we can tell you, the doctors have showed me the figures, and we're seeing many more men come into the men's clinic, and many more men want to do it. I also want to tell you quickly that we also included snake bite as snake bite management as part of the Universal Health Coverage Program. Now, I heard the United Workers' Party throwing, they're trying to throw trash on that about snake bite. I love snakes, all that kind of thing. Listen to me. In St. Lucia today, more than in the past, we are seeing more incidents of encounters between St. Lucians and the Fenelon snake. And there are many theories for that. People say the farmers, not many farmers in the forest, and so the forests have regrown and the snakes are reclaiming their territory. So it is a fact. You get snakes, Fenelons in Dennery. People are reporting Fenelons even in as low down as Monrepo and so on. And we see it on Facebook. People have the Fenelons. While Fenelons is a very important snake, but it's also a very deadly snake. So we decided that we are going to include the management of snake bite. In the past, you got bitten by a snake, you go to the hospital, you get treatment, but there may be further treatment that you require, surgery, for example, okay? In your limbs, wherever. We have had cases where snake bite patients require surgery, and they would have had to pay for that surgery. There's further consultation, and they would have had to pay. We have now included new ways, snake bite management. We had an international conference here with the Honorable Professor Dabor from Martinique, an expert in snake bite management, with the foresters, the firemen. You saw it on TV and so on. And we created this new protocol with everybody, the CMO and everybody, on how are we going to treat snake bite from here on. Very soon, in the coming weeks, there's going to be a national simulation. And if there's a snake bite, what do you do? Although we do not have too many snake bites, but we have had fatalities.
It is, yes.
And it's becoming more common. So even that we have included in our universal health coverage program. So right now, if you have a snake bite, God forbid, there's a protocol, and you don't have to pay for the services anymore, even though you need surgery. So all of these things. And the last one, not last one, but I want to drink a little water to say this. Because I'm so proud of the nurses and the doctors and those people who have toiled, not just now. I keep talking about the pioneers, because as a politician, I keep saying Nigerian and my brother all the time that a lot of things we're doing new things, but some of them have foundations. The doctors and nurses, people from the Faces of Cancer, the Senator Cancer Society. Many years ago, nurses who have passed away, doctors who have gone, a lot of people have worked tirelessly and for free to raise the awareness of breast cancer, way before my time and so on. So I always give homage to the pioneers and to say to them, the work that we are doing is building on your work. But what did we do as a government? We took action. That's the difference between Honorable Philip J. Pierre and the former Prime Minister. We take action. And if when we take the action, the doctors and the nurses and the health aides and so on tell us what you're doing, we should do it a different way, we pull back, we bring them in, and we take action again.
You listen.
We listen. So we know that breast cancer is the number one cancer killer, especially in women. Well, in women. And I want to say quickly also that men also get breast cancer.
Yes, that's true.
Okay, the information is saying to us that we have had a fatality. One man has died of breast cancer in St. Lucia. So men do get breast cancer, although it's very rare. So breast cancer is a big killer and a problem, economic and family and so on. Every single one of us knows somebody who has breast cancer or who passed away or something like that. So we decided, let's take action. So we included breast cancer screening in the Universal Health Coverage Program. Again, there was always breast cancer screening. Okay, with the way you examine your breast and you go to your doctor and so on. But we took it up a notch. We said, okay, we are going to re-establish breast cancer screening. Okay, the first thing we did after all of the consultations with the protocols, the doctors and everybody, and we always bring everybody together. The doctors in the country, the nurses at both hospitals, private doctors and so on. We always have them in consultations with us, guiding us. And so we decided that we are going to purchase through the World Bank's project, HSSP, Health System Strengthening Project, and thanks to the World Bank and Mrs. Hughes and the team and the PS and everybody who's working on these things, we purchased 2 mammography machines. A mammography machine is a machine where the professionals, the nurses, the doctors will take the lady's breast and expose the breast to the machine, and the machine will take a picture, so to speak, if we have to look at it this way, and the doctors can examine this image to find out whether there are lumps in the breast. Dr. Owen Gabriel, at the launching of our breast cancer, said to us, these new machines that we have, these new machines can detect a lump which is the size of a pea, meaning a lentil, compared to what we are using now in St. Lucia, which can detect the size of a plum, a yellow plum. That's what Dr. Gabriel said. He's the expert. So it's very clear that our actions, we've placed 1 machine at St. Jude and 1 machine at the Owen King EU Hospital. Again, tangible things that our government is doing to improve healthcare services. Tangible. And that is where I challenged the last government. Come and speak about breast cancer and give me the tangible things that you've done. Yes, you may have done some things with service, with programs and so on, but our government is taking it to an advanced level. So here is what will happen. Well, it's already happening. We started on the 23rd of June, last Monday. A lady goes to the wellness center and seeks services in breast cancer screening. They are the basic services of the nurses and the doctors will tell you about how to inspect your breast and so on. But you are recommended for mammography. You do not have to pay. If the doctors recommend that you do a biopsy, which is a procedure which would test, you need a needle and so it would test the tissues in your body. You can have biopsies of any part of the body, and the doctors, the professionals will tell you what to do and when you need it. If the lady needs a biopsy, she does not have to pay. We go further. If that biopsy requires examination and so on, she does not have to pay for that. And then if the lady requires further consultation after the results of the biopsy, she also does not have to pay. So this is new, this is different.
Yes.
So I want the UWP to come and tell me, let's compare your work to this.
Yes.
This is different. What we are offering the people of St. Lucia is different. Okay, in universal health coverage is different. So all of these services have been added, and the government of St. Lucia is paying for all of these services. Okay, the mammography machine, and there's been training, and you'd see my Facebook page and the media and so on. There are pictures of it. You see it's the latest machine, and according to Dr. Gabriel and other professionals in St. Lucia, it's a 3D machine compared to a 2D machine. The 2D machines we've been having. So you can see we have advanced the diagnostic capability in St. Lucia, and we continue to say to the people of St. Lucia that our job is to improve services, and we are showing, the Prime Minister is demonstrating by way of his allocation in the budget to health, the increased allocation from 2021 to now, the increased allocation to the hospitals, the increased allocation for procurement of medication and so on. You can see that our government is taking concrete steps to improve health services in St. Lucia. I'll say very quickly that we still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And there is so much more I'll tell you about universal health coverage, because it's not just the services, it's about information system, and very importantly, the financing, which we are going to talk about, and I'm going to tell you how ours compare to what they're talking in, the 75,000 that they wish they would have done, or they could have do, or they would have do, and so on.
Yes.
So we can talk about that.
Yeah. Before you go, let me. One of the things, I know the Prime Minister has injected some monies into to clear payables, because one of the complaints that there's no medication at the hospitals and so on. I mean, is there any truth to that?
Okay, I will explain this. We came into government with a situation where the Ministry of Health, and after we came into government, we did all of the assessments and so on, and we found that the Ministry of Health had a debt of about, say, $44 million and climbing. Payables. Meaning individuals who supply services, local individuals, labs and so on, but also overseas suppliers. And that certainly choked the Ministry of Health. Because, if you're not paying your debts properly and on time and so on, you could well imagine what suppliers may be a little reluctant to send you and so on. So our first duty was to try to see how best we can cause there to be money to fast track the procurement of medication. Because we came into government in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2021, the supply chain, whether it be from India, from the United States, from wherever, the supply chain for equipment and medication and so on, all of that got disrupted. So into 2022, 2023, we continue to have problems to cause there to be a regular supply of pharmaceuticals. But we did improve the situation. We worked with the OECS PPS. We procure pharmaceuticals through this OECS arrangement where we purchase medication together as a group, okay? The OECS procurement service. And also we did some privately to ensure that we increase the amount of medication in our system. But our system has problems that we are trying to address. Our system has problems. Our system has health information system problems. Our system have issues in relation to how quickly you do procurement and why you do it and which medication you need to procure at what time and so on. These are very basic elements of a health system that you must cure if you are to have a successful global health system. And in a while I will tell you what we have done and what we are doing to cure that. Okay? So yes, there have been problems with procurement of medication. Some of it is because of supply chain issues. Some of it is because of debt issues, accumulated debt that we've been trying. You saw the Prime Minister on television.
Let's clarify that, because maybe people might think we are blaming the last administration. That debt has gone back.
Yes. We're
not blaming any.
We're not blaming
party,
only the last administration, and you are correct. This is a systemic problem that has been with us for a long time. For example, the debt to the University Hospital of Martinique goes way back, 20-something years.
Right.
Okay, and the United Workers' Party, if they're always very partisan political. I try not to be partisan political with health issues. But I have all of the data about the debt to Martinique, and the bar chart and the graph shows clearly when the debt was highest and when it was not being served, who was in government. But when it comes to medicine and health, I try my best to stay above the fray, take the blows, but just give you the facts, because we are dealing with human health, human suffering, human wellness, and I don't like to TMT on health. The time will come when I will debate, as always, the facts. But the Prime Minister, Honorable Philip JPA, came in. He sent me to Martinique with a team, the Permanent Secretary and others, the financial analysts and so on. We spoke to the Martinicans and we promised them that the government of St. Lucia will pay all of the debt. And you saw a few weeks ago, Prime Minister went to Martinique and he handed a check to the hospital, and we have paid all of our debts to the hospital in Martinique. There are still some timing issues. So when patients from St. Lucia pay the hospital, whether it be through the Ministry of Finance or privately through the banks, that goes through a system, and sometimes the hospital in Martinique does not get it through the system within a period of time, and then we now have to backtrack in St. Lucia to check it. But we have paid all of our debts to the hospital in Martinique. We continue to pay debts to the local suppliers. There are suppliers who over the years have provided services in imaging services, for example, pharmaceutical services, professional services by our doctors, and our government is trying to clear those debts for the hospitals, the Owen King EU Hospital. When we came in, the debt was already $9-point-something million and climbing when the hospital was forced to be moved from Victoria to the Owen King EU Hospital. We did not complain and say, oh, the government left us with debt. We worked and we are trying even now to clear the debt. You saw the Prime Minister providing $15 million to the hospital to try to get things to be regularized.
Because this morning, remember, as you came in, I showed you a WhatsApp message from one of our colleagues. How important it was that to pay off the debt to the hospital in Martinique? Because, a lot of our people are accessing medical treatment in Martinique. So what significance, how important was that to clear that debt so that we can continue to go forward?
Okay, very good question. Individuals access services, medical services in Martinique in two ways. St. Lucians go to Martinique privately, they pay their ticket and they go to Martinique, and they access medical services without the knowledge of the government. They go privately and they go to the hospitals, they have relatives in Martinique and so on. In some cases, these St. Lucians do not pay the debt at the hospital. So that's one. In many cases, the St. Lucians pay through the insurance or whatever, but there are a number of cases where St. Lucians go privately without the knowledge of the government or the Ministry of Health, and they go to the facilities and they don't pay the debt. So that's just like in St. Lucia, people go to the hospitals and sometimes they can't pay and so on. So that is one part of the debt. The other part of the debt is government debt, because there are cases where the government have to subsidize or to assist certain situations, especially emergency situations, where you have certain specialist services like cardiac services, meaning the heart. You have certain specialities that we do not have in St. Lucia, or even though we have the doctors to do it, we may not have the facilities to do it, and we may have to fly individuals to Martinique or to the United States or to Trinidad and so on to get some services done. And in many cases, those individuals have their money, but they may not have all the money. And so they will write to the government to seek assistance, and the government would provide that assistance.
Right.
That debt accumulated for decades. And so we found ourselves in a situation where you want certain specialist services, but you have a huge debt.
Yes.
So the government, our government, had to ensure that we cleared all of that debt so that there is goodwill. And the people of Martinique, the government and people of Martinique have always treated us well. The government of France in Martinique always treated St. Lucians well. But you have a responsibility to show goodwill and to take up your responsibility seriously.
That's right.
And to pay what you owe.
Your integrity.
Yeah. But having said so, I must tell you that even in St. Lucia, you can see the capacity is building. Look at what happened at Tapion Hospital recently with a very dedicated heart surgery and operation.
That's right.
And also brain
surgery.
So, I mean, the capacity is building in St. Lucia. You can see our professionals. We have great professionals in St. Lucia. What we are trying to do as a government is to work with the private sector, whether it be Tapion or other private sector agencies, to hold the hands of government and private sector to make sure that we have the best medical services in St. Lucia.
We're on a roll there. We're batting well. But Andre,
I have so much to say.
I know.
You have 3 hours?
No, Andre might want to give us 10 minutes. I don't want people. I don't want anybody to accuse us of not taking calls.
Yes.
That is important, because as the minister, you have to face the public, face the music.
No problem.
And so, Andre, I mean, you could give the numbers and we open the lines. I mean, and just keep it short, Pithy. No long talk, please. Yes.
Okay. The fixed line is 572-9710. 572-9710. On the WhatsApp platform, it is 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. We have somebody on the WhatsApp
already?
platform.
Oh, yes. My word. Mr. Minister, you wanted to say something, but we have to take the call.
You have to use your headphones.
Yes. You have to put on your headphones.
I'll have to come back. Yes.
Wow.
Good morning, Andrew Paul.
Good morning.
Welcome. Thanks for calling me, the minister.
Baptist, and good morning, Cherry.
Yes.
Okay. Say something there now.
No,
yes, go ahead. We have you.
Okay. Let me tell you. I'm here as go to the doctor here, and when I finish, they tell me I went to see all doctor in St. Lucia. Okay. And the thing is that I go to Tapion, I go to Victoria Hospital, and mostly I see all doctor for the eyes, for my eyes. I lose, the doctor tell me I lose one. The other one I go to lose it. I say, my goodness. All that I try, they cannot do nothing. What the doctor tell me, he tell me, go to Martinique, Trinidad, whatever, Barbados, whatever, go and take the treatment. They didn't have the treatment here. I went to Martinique. I don't have a family there. I went there, and I go and see the doctor in La Mena. My bill come in to almost 15,000 euro. To take the injection in the eyes, 1,000 euro. That cost me almost it cost almost 3,000. Almost, I say for one. I've been do the surgery 2019. Up to now, this month, I went there again. I could pay the hospital. Too much money. Every 3 months I have to go up there, and I blind. Right now, the one eye is blind, and the other one I cannot see. I just cannot see. The other one I go to take the treatment. And I had a bill there. Is that when I tell the doctor, I am not working, I have diabetes, I always call Miss Andre Paul. I always call him. I always talk to him already. My name is Cecilia Rampasad, and I just recently I come from Martinique. Gone see my bill. The people tell me my bill is almost 4,000 euro and 600 euro. I said, Doc, the people, I'm not working, I'm blind. And me alone in the house, the people can put a light there for me. Miss Andre Paul know that. When I call Miss Andre Paul, the children have to bring food for me, and there is dark, and they're afraid. They cannot come where I'm living there. Praise the Lord. They put the light for me, and I call him. I say, praise the Lord. They put the light for me. I have the light. The people bring light for me. Right? I cannot go to Martinique because I tell the doctor, I cannot take the injection $1,000. I am not working. I don't have insurance. I am not working for government, say I have a money NIC to get some money NIC. You know, my family had helped me to go to Martinique to pay the passage of boat, and when you include everything, passage cost 7 something. Yeah. When I have to pay hotel, when I have to pay insurance.
Caller, sorry to disturb you. Sorry to disturb you, caller. What is it you'd like to ask the minister to do for you?
Well, you don't know what I wanted to do for me. I had a little road there, the step by Kako there. There's a little step, it's not good. It really folded me down already because I burst my toe. The doctor have to take out the nail for me, take it out for me. What I have to do for me, please?
Can you share your number? Can you share your number with us?
Caller.
The hospital for me.
Caller?
Yeah?
Just give us your number so we can get in touch with you. Do you know your
my
number?
Yes. My number is 7 2 3 6 9.
Okay. Well, the minister's taken that, Ms. Rampasad, and we will get in touch with you. Okay?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you. We'll get in touch with you.
Okay, you have another call.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rampasad. We'll get in touch.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Welcome.
Okay, Mr. Minister.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Some clarification I need on the St. Jude's material I went missing. Just some questions I have. I want to know, did you get any information as to who really authorized the search and seizure of those materials? And on what grounds were these materials taken? Because if a warrant was issued, we would like to know who applied for the warrant and whose authority was that warrant placed in. Because for a warrant of that nature to be issued, there would have to be grounds for criminal intent. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. This is not a civic matter. To issue a warrant of that nature, there would have to be grounds for criminal intent. So if a warrant was issued and they were going to search and seize those materials, then why were the materials not placed in the custody of the police and not the minister? Since the warrant bore the signature of a court officer, like a judge or a magistrate. You understand? And if they were placed in our house like he claimed, whereas there was no form of police protection for these materials, why they just disappear?
Yes.
You understand?
Thank you.
And if the materials were over time they had war and tear or they were damaged or something, wouldn't it be the proper authority to dispose of this would be the board of condemnation, and that an inventory will be made as to what was damaged and what was not good?
Great call, caller. Thank you.
Yeah. You understand?
Let the minister answer. Let the minister answer. We have gotten the gist. Let the minister answer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, well, thanks very much, caller, and thanks to Ms. Rampasad. I know, I'm sorry that she's going through all of this. Yes. I will call her so that we can see how best we can assist. To the last caller, I want to tell you that all of this happened within the Department of Economic Development in the last government, and I want to say to you, I want to repeat what the Prime Minister said, that these matters are not going to go under the carpet. These matters, they are active. The investigations in these matters are very active. Prime Minister has said it publicly, and the time will come when everything will be brought to light. I do not want to have an exposition on it today, but they will certainly. These matters need to be ventilated. Prime Minister has promised.
One more call.
Yeah, okay. One more.
And the minister also. I mean, I need to give you a chance to say something to the Free Foot North. So let's take the last call. Yeah. Welcome, caller, to meet the minister.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
So, Mr. Minister and your moderator and Andre, I find it, one of the things I don't really like to hear politicians say, it bothers me. Like my father once told me, don't tell me about your cousins did or what your brother did, what you going to do. I don't like when you come and say the last government did this. The last government is not in power right now. It's you that have to look after the citizens of this country. I don't hear nothing about the last government. The last government is not there. They're in opposition to what you do.
Yeah, so what's the question, caller? What's the question? Let's get to the question.
The question is, there's a question. Stop.
No, it's a question. No lectures. It's a question. What is your question?
Yeah. My question is, I want you to stop saying that. Just tell me what you're going to do for your country.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have done that. Okay, yes. Mr. Minister, you have been here twice, so Andrew will just give us a minute just to talk to you. What's happening in Beaufort North?
Well, I want to tell the caller quickly that we will continue. What we're going to do for this country, Honorable Philip J. Pierre's Prime Minister will continue to be a better Prime Minister than the last Prime Minister was. He has grown the economy. He's caused more money to be placed in healthcare, infrastructure, and, St. Lucians are respected more. He will never call St. Lucians jackasses and backing dogs. He's going to continue to work with all professionals in St. Lucia to uplift this country. We are not going to speak about all kinds of darkness things and so on. We are talking about light and positivity in the country. But just quickly, I want to thank the people of Beaufort North. I know we have challenges, but we have started to address many of the challenges we spoke about in the campaign, like our roads. We are working on the Zabo to Bellevue Road, which was in a deplorable state under the last government, and even before that. I also want to tell them that work is happening as we speak on the Grace Road, and we are finalizing plans for the Vigier Kako Road. We know there are other Bamboo Road and Woodland and Hope Estate, but work is happening. I want to thank the Prime Minister for giving us that support. We spoke in the campaign about rehabilitating our school infrastructure, the Grace school building and the Piro school building. If you go to Piro now, you'll see that we are working very hard on a brand new wing for the Piro school. And there are many other things in terms of healthcare. We are going to rehabilitate completely the Grace Health Center, and we are going to continue to work to ensure that more of our playing facilities are rehabilitated. We're working on the Bellevue playing field still. It has taken some time, but we're still on it. The lights are up, and we are working on bathroom and the surfacing, and also the Piro playing field and others. We are working in every community, but especially the social areas, increasing access to education. The one university per the first generation university, people who are going to university for the first time in their family. We have had some Beaufort North people who benefited, and all the programs of the government. We continue to meet with the people of Beaufort North. Just this Saturday coming, we are going to have a meeting at African Star in Zabo to speak to the people of Moncayan and Tetmon and Zabo to tell them of the developments. And there are so many developments within our farming sector, CMOS sector, and so on, and the Savans Bay area with the development of the fisheries facility there. There is so much we are doing, not only in infrastructure, because yes, the roads are important, the buildings are important, but the things we are doing with young people, with the elderly, the things we are doing to assist individuals in their difficulties. I am very proud to continue to be the parliamentary representative for Beaufort North, and the Prime Minister has demonstrated that he cares about all constituencies, and our constituency has had some challenges, and we continue to work to address them.
Wow, Andre, Mr. Minister, we're on time. Thanks for the free extra minutes, Andre. I know Andre
Thanks
is
very much,
tight for time. There's a lot more to discuss. And let me just tell the viewers, whether you're a Labour supporter, UWP supporter, when we come here, we just try to give you the truth. We give you the unvarnished facts, okay? We're not coming here to mama guy you or to tell you what, no misinformation. Now, I know you may not like some of the things you're in because your party, you figure we're putting your party to shame. No, we are St. Lucians, and we must take pride in our country. We must be patriotic.
That's right.
And when things are good, we have to say it is good. We have to support what is good. You understand? Not because your party is not in power, you're going to try to fight down, the good stuff. What is good is good.
And I just want to say quickly, Andre, 2 seconds. I forgot that in all of the refurbishment of health centers, this evening at 5 o'clock, we are going to have a signing ceremony at Fonso in Babuno because we are refurbishing completely the Babuno Health Center and the Fonso Health Center. So this afternoon, just to show you, action.
That's right.
And even this afternoon at 5, we are going with Honorable Dr. Virginia Poyot and the Prime Minister and the contractors and so on to have a signing ceremony. So even today, action.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And it's for everybody.
I love it, Andrew.
It's for everybody.
Yes.
It's for once you are St. Lucian, we don't. The Belrose doctrine doesn't apply to us. We don't do that.
All constituencies.
Everyone benefits. So when healthcare is good, we all benefit. So let's join hands together, please, and let's stop the fighting and the maple. It's unnecessary. Now, Andre, I have a bowl of money for me downstairs. I'm just teasing folks. That's my brother.
I appreciate it
yes,
again, Andre.
it was nice, Andre. See you next week, Andre, and callers and listeners and viewers. Have a very good weekend. Use the back roads because the president of Nigeria is here, our brother from our mother country. Let's welcome them. Let's make them feel at home. Okay, Andre.
Thank you very much.
To the host of Meet the Minister, Terrace Fenelon, and also to the guest today, the Health Minister, Moses Musa Jabatis. Well, until next week, Friday, same time from 10 until 11, for another Meet the Minister. Andre Paul, thanking you so much for listening and for viewing. Have yourself a safe weekend. Up next, we have Kina. She'll be with you until 3 this afternoon. 3 o'clock until 6 is going to be Zen the DJ. Bye-bye.
Welcome to Meet the Minister, your inside look at government in action. Tune in every Friday at 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Meet the